Welcome back to Stray Trains. Quite often, the Flemington Racecourse line is perceived as Melbourne's odd railway line out, and for good reason. In this video, we're going to take a look at all the unique aspects of the Flemington Racecourse line, and why it is very worthy of being perceived as Melbourne's odd line out, unofficially that is. Hope you enjoy the video. No doubt the first thing that will come to mind as to why the Flemington Racecourse line is so unique is that it's the only line in Melbourne that doesn't have regular passenger service every day. Whilst other lines can sometimes have extra trains running as specials, there is a set timetable that operates every single day that lines follow. That has been a Monday to Friday timetable with Friday night network services, as well as a Saturday and a Sunday timetable. However, the Flemington Racecourse line doesn't operate on a daily or weekly timetable schedule. Rather, it only ever takes passengers when there are events along the line at either the showgrounds or Flemington Racecourse. When it does run services, these trains are known as specials or extras. Actually, hold on a moment. Scratch that. Monday to Friday, there are actually two services that are scheduled as technically Flemington Racecourse line services that run. The first is the 8:23am, followed by the 8:46am North Melbourne stops-all service that, after originating at Flinders Street, stops at Southern Cross and then terminates at North Melbourne. After terminating at North Melbourne, both trains run empty towards Flemington Racecourse to stable for the day in preparation for the peak PM. Even the passenger information display has the dark pink colour, which is the same used on the Flemington Racecourse line for services. So technically speaking, we can count these as the only two services that run on this line per day. And we were sort of alluding onto it, but the Flemington Racecourse line is more used as a stabling line than anything else. At Flemington Racecourse Station, there are a few roads where trains can stable, and with pretty much every single day empty carriage movements running to and from Flemington Racecourse, the line is the only line in Melbourne that on most days has more empty trains run than actual passenger services. Sometimes when stabling, trains run through the Northern Loop en route to Flemington Racecourse, which means we can see Extrapolis trains run through the Northern Loop on a somewhat of a semi-regular basis, despite them not actually taking passengers through this loop. Typically, the Northern Loop sees Upfield, Craigieburn and Sunbury lines run through it, which are typically not run by Extrapolis trains, rather other types of trains. And talking about what type of trains run on what type of lines, the Flemington Racecourse line is sort of the odd one out when it comes to the Northern Group. The Extrapolis train is the only train on the Northern Group that does not operate passenger services, being the Upfield, Craigieburn and Sunbury lines. These lines only ever see Comenge, Siemens, and if you're at the right time on the Sunbury line, you might see a high-capacity metro train. Yet the Flemington Racecourse line sometimes sees Comenge, Siemens, and Extrapolis trains. That means that if there are Extrapolis trains operating on a particular day, you can ride them express through Northern Group stations, being Kensington and Newmarket on the Craigieburn line. For point 4, we take a look at Southern Cross Station. Typically, metro trains utilise platforms 9 through to 14. However, when Flemington Racecourse trains terminate and originate at Southern Cross, they utilise platform 8. Platform 8 is generally only for V-Line trains, as it's seen by its purple station signage. However, to allow for Flemington Racecourse services, platform 8 has been electrified for metro trains. Also, assuming no works are taking place, all train lines run through Flinders Street Station. Some through and then via the loop, or vice versa, and others to Flinders Street and then back out direct to the suburban destination. The only real exception to this when works aren't taking place is the Flemington Racecourse line, as it can sometimes terminate at Southern Cross Station as well as Flinders Street Station. The Flemington Racecourse line is the only line in the Metro network where trains can terminate and originate at every single station. For instance here, because there is only one platform at Showground Station, the down Showground service must wait for the up Showground service to depart. As we see 1428M pass by, yes, take a look at the T-car when it passes. Flemington Racecourse Station is the longest station name on our network. A total of 20 letters long and one space, making a total of 21 characters long, I guess. Interestingly, both words in the name are exactly 10 letters long, which is nice and symmetrical. And a fun fact for Showgrounds Station, for all Metro trains when they're arriving at a station, they will say, now arriving at, and give the station. The only exception to this, which is now a former exception, was prior to the Siemens fleet receiving their midlife upgrades, when the announcer would say, now arriving at the showgrounds, with the word the. I don't think I did it justice, so let's listen to the actual announcement.
Now arriving at the showgrounds.
And lastly, two more facts that probably really exacerbate how odd the line is. First up, it has the colour grey on our railways map, the same colouring as the bus routes to Avalon Airport and Tullamarine Airport. Yet, the colour displayed on the passenger information displays for Flemington Racecourse is dark pink. For all other lines, the passenger information display colour is the same as its group colour, and of course, no other lines have the same group colour on our map as a bus. But possibly the most unique aspect of the Flemington Racecourse line is when there was the network divide, when Connex and M-Train simultaneously ran their halves of the network, the Flemington Racecourse line was actually considered a north side line. The other north side lines are the Burnley group, being the Belgrave, Lilydale, Alamein and Glen Waverley line, as well as the Clifton Hill group, which is the Hurstbridge and Mernda lines. Well, back then, the Epping line. Nonetheless, on the Burnley and Clifton Hill north side lines, Comminge and Extrapolis operate. Now only Extrapolis trains. Meaning, technically speaking, the only north side line that sees Siemens operation on it is the Flemington Racecourse line. How's that for a technicality? Thank you so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Learned a thing or two about the Flemington Racecourse line, and I think we'll leave it at that. Cheers.